You want to know how to drop high kills and high damage with Wraith in Season 9? Well, this video is for you. In this video, I will show you one of my best games with Wraith and walk you through all of my decision making so you can better understand how to play Wraith at high levels. I will offer a ton of valuable tips and tricks for Wraith, so if you're a casual player and you're looking to improve, or you're more experienced, I guarantee you'll still learn a thing or two watching this video. Let's get into it. In any attempt to drop high kills or high damage in Season 9, you've got to drop in a highly populated area. It doesn't mean the whole lobby needs to be there, but at least a few teams. In this clip here, we obviously land at Oasis, and this was a great starting point to the game. I looked to challenge a 3-man that landed in this building, but I didn't really want to challenge them because I wasn't sure what sort of guns they all got. Now in Season 9, when you spawn in with white armor, it makes 50-50ing a little bit more different. Everybody is kind of more equalized. It's different than you finding an armor and your opponent not, or vice versa. Once I knocked this horizon here, I looked to go help my teammate Fuse, but he was already dead and thirsted, so I grabbed his banner. There was a Valkyrie up here. I'm able to get some shots on her, but ultimately I pinch her. I force her into this other team, and this team ends up stealing my kill. I then just send it down to try to finish up this fight, because I did hear a revive going on. The Wraith was low, and I was able to clean this up. We then heard a respawn ship at this no-name spot, and I challenged his lifeline up close. I almost died to this crazy havoc. All right, I'm gonna phase out here, and when I phase, I'm gonna get behind cover. I need to pop this Phoenix kit, so I know I need 9 seconds. I know Valkyrie's gonna move up and try to fight, and although she's very low, I'm super confident in this 2-on-1 if it comes down to that, because one of those people just got respawned. I know it wasn't the lifeline given her loot and given where she was when I pulled up. So I swing around on him and we end up wiping pretty quickly. Fast forwarding to Turbine. Turbine's a hectic POI on Olympus. There's a lot of different lines of sight, so that means that a lot of different people can get angles at you. This whole fight lasted a few minutes and I tried to compress it into as short of amount of time as I possibly could, but I really wanted to cover just how hectic the situation was and walk you through some of the decisions that I made in order to stay alive and still stack kills and damage. Shooting a Caustic Trap before he can activate it is the best bet when Caustic's throwing traps at you. You have a few seconds before the trap inflates, and that's ultimately what led me to being able to push him. I wasn't blocked off by his gas. Now, both of those two just quit, so that tells me that their third teammate probably isn't close, and they're just giving up. Now I turn to this other team, and this Wraith has a great wingman shot with a crazy strafe. So I drop down, I look to armor swap, but it's only a white armor. So I grab some batteries, and I heal on this low ground area. Now, being low ground here is so sketchy. I never like to play down here. I've died so many times. There's no cover, a lot of different angles. So if you get stuck low ground there and you don't have somebody like Horizon or Valkyrie or Octane, I guess, then you got to get up out of there as quick as possible. I cracked this Wraith and I'm like, okay, I don't really like this fight. There's too many teams around here. So I portal out. I always hit my phase before my portal's at 40%. That way I get the full phase. I put the end of the portal around cover on this box, and then this team looks to move up. It's not until a few seconds here that I realize I'm super low on ammo. So I realize that this fight cannot go on. I try to put out as much damage as I can, but I'm not that successful in doing that. The reason I wanted to put out as much damage here is to prevent this team from pushing up closer. I asked for some light ammo for my teammates, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get any. So I make the decision to back up. My thought is, I know there's a couple death boxes back in the circular part of Turbine, so I'm going to go check those out. I do end up getting some light. This Valkyrie drops down. I get the knock here. I'm not worried about dropping to the low ground and thirsting because I don't know where her two teammates could be. And once again, I don't want to be stuck down there. Then I see that my teammates are engaging in a different fight. The Valkyrie gets pretty low and the fuse is almost cracked, so I look to help. But these guys are pretty far away, so they're not like my biggest threat. We can hold them out somewhat, but I'm worried about the team behind us, or potentially two teams behind us. So I get some shots off on that Wraith, and then this Crypto walks up here. I get some good shots on him, but I get shot by his teammate. So I'm cracked. I'm gonna phase. Not sure where everybody's at. I think this spot is clear. Being able to see in your phase is a really good way to gather information. You can kind of determine which way you would like to go, which way is potentially safe, so on and so forth. I dropped down low here to check on that Valkyrie, which is still down here. But then the lifeline takes high ground. Pretty sketchy. She has a bow too, which is a dangerous weapon. Knock the Valkyrie, and then I'm just going to push the lifeline. Hit a quick armor swap because I know there's another team behind me. They try shooting at me with the wingman. Still low on ammo, so I look to go loot. Then we move up here. We heard some shots. I get this Octane while he's healing. Then I look what's going on inside of here. Now I can hear crypto up there, or what appears to be a crypto here in a moment. The drone is going to EMP. I gotta get the phase off before the EMP hits, or else I'm still going to take damage and then waste my phase. But then I peek up here and the portal's blocking my vision. So I hit a quick armor swap. I look in here what they got. I'm going to end up switching to this triple take here in a moment. The triple take's insane. I didn't actually think it would turn out to be that good of a care package weapon, but it gives you like 70 something ammo. The fire rate's super fast. It's going to do a good amount of damage. And the ADS speed is also insanely fast. So when I figured out this team had a bow, I was like, I gotta grab the triple take. I almost knocked the Wraith, so I look to move up a little, see what else is down here. And then this is the Pathfinder with the bow. He gets me pretty low, so I back up. I start to heal here, but then I see that Valkyrie's fighting in that vent. So I phase all the way back here, get behind some cover. Because if Valkyrie loses that, and that team pushes through the doorway, and then somebody comes from the vent, I'd been in a terrible spot. I full heal here. I wait to see if Fuse is gonna res, and then I see if that team pushes. They would be kind of dumb to push with the zone, but you never know. One of the simplest tips I have for any of you Wraith mains or players who are looking to improve as Wraith is make sure you practice using your tactical early and not late. You need 1.25 seconds to get the phase off. In other words, the animation that Wraith does with her hand. If you end up phasing too late, that is the difference between you living and dying a lot of times. Understanding when and what direction to phase towards is ultimately what's going to improve you as a Wraith player. If you master the tactical, you're going to end up eventually mastering the portal. Although they're different mechanics, it's about timing and placement. Anytime you play with friends or a pre-made squad and you're communicating with them, make sure you communicate when you're going to phase and where you're going to phase to. Because if you advance up as a Wraith and your teammates follow you and you take a good amount of damage and then you phase out the opposite direction, well, your two teammates most likely don't have that same get out of jail free type of card. So they might be overextended, and then you may not be able to help because you phased out, and that could put them in a 2-on-3 situation or some sort of situation where they're ultimately disadvantaged. So make sure you communicate with your teammates when you're about to phase. And anytime you do this, I also make sure to call out who is super weak so they know to play off the damage that I dealt. And then hopefully I can heal a little and then return to the fight. If they end up getting knocked, I can come back in as reinforcements essentially. If you'd like a more in-depth guide for Wraith covering most of her abilities, her hitbox, and all of the things to do in order to improve with Wraith, I will link my Wraith guide in the info cards right now. This guide was made in season 7, but essentially nothing has changed for Wraith with the exception of low profile being removed. Her hitbox did get increased in season 8, but that basically got canceled out as a result of low profile being removed in season 9. I probably should have had the 20 bomb this game, but I ended up being a few kills short. Anytime you're trying to drop a 20 kill game or more when you're solo queuing and both your teammates are alive, it's extremely difficult. You basically need most of your teammates to do nothing or very little and in only certain scenarios. I didn't really say a single word to my teammates this game because I wasn't super concerned with getting either the 4K or a 20. This basically just organically happened. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider slapping a like on it and stay tuned until the end of the video because the YouTube algorithm thinks you're gonna like another video of mine. Let me know if they're right. Peace.
do it to him.
Yes, sir.